Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Sleepless. And I overall enjoyed this movie. It's another kind of Taken movie, since that proved popular, and it's just like, okay, this dude doing his job, son gets taken. It's like, okay, it's kind of like a mix of Taken, a little bit of Die Hard, though I think the Die Hard bits are kind of unintentional. It seems very disconnected and disjointed. Granted, it's got good action scenes in it. It's just like there's some things that happen that's like, was this thought out at all? It was just like, almost like plot demanded certain things happen to get certain points. It's like, they could do like this. It's like, okay. So, the story centers on Vincent Downs, who we learn is an undercover cop. He's been working this case for 2 years to pretty much get these corrupt cops who have been working with Rob Novak and this Stanley guy who's running a casino. So it begins in the morning and we see Vincent and his partner are trying to bust this this van for some reason. And it's really kind of weird. At first we don't understand why it's going on, but they like get the bag and all that. They are able to see Vincent's face because his mask falls off. And we learned that this was a shipment of cocaine to Rob Novak from Stanley because Novak's a big player. And I could like the dude who played Novak. It's just some of the stuff that he was doing, it was just like, okay, you're supposed to be this scary dude, but you're like, what's going on? That doesn't make any sense. And we're shown that he's kind of tough because his one cousin blabbed to some DEA agent, and he has his cronies cut out his tongue. So, we flash forward, and we're seeing that they've got the cocaine at the police station. Vincent is sent out to investigate the scene with his partner, runs into Jennifer, who's in internal affairs, trying to find corrupt people and all that. She had evidently been assaulted by a junkie in a meth lab and is really kind of too gung-ho to a certain extent. It's like understandable that like she wants to get back in the field, she wants to bust these corrupt police officers and all that, but it's almost like she will not take any other outside counsel no matter what, like an extremely overblown character fault. That's like almost straining believability. It's like, it's like, she's like pretty much positive that Vincent's her guy no matter what and that she was not screwed over in that bust in that meth lab. And we see that he's pretty much goes to the hospital after they go to the scene to like pick up his son Thomas and take him to his game. But as they get there, they're like stopped at a traffic light, and of course Stanley has sent people, kidnaps Thomas, and Vincent has to go and get the cocaine and go off and try and do a deal. And that's where it begins because he starts wounded and going through. He shows a little bit of the cocaine because he wanted to make sure he could get his son back. And of course he's doing all of his act while his son's like, what the hell's going on? You're selling drugs and all that. And we see that Jennifer has followed him because she's got, I would have said a hunch, but she's got this drive of, I must bust him, even if there could be some other possible explanations to it. And she never really gives him a chance to, like, really explain himself. But the plot never gives him a chance to explain himself. It's like this could have been resolved a little bit faster and in a more coherent sense if he was able to like actually talk with her, which he could have done. It's just they made the plot go weird because he had hid the rest of the cocaine in the men's bathroom. Jennifer goes in and takes it and is like, aha, got it. And then her partner comes in who you already have a feeling is probably tied up in it. And we go through, he's doing some cool fight scenes to get his son out of there. And that's where the kind of John McClane kind of stuff comes in from Die Hard. Jamie Foxx does a really good job of presenting Vincent and his tough job of doing 2 years pretty much being separated from his wife, losing time with his son to get these guys. It's a very hard thing to do to stay undercover like this. And pretty much showing his son after he'd gotten him and done some fake drugs pretty much to get him out of there, and them running through the casino, which most of the stuff takes place in the casino for no other reason than just, I think that was the only other place that they would be able to do anything production-wise, because I understand that you use your places and sets as effectively as possible, but it was more like there could have been other things. He could have gotten outside of Las Vegas. I mean, you said it in Las Vegas. You could have done a lot of other kind of cool stuff. But they're going through the main fight scenes happen like with this one lackey. And it's like, okay. Could have had a little bit more, but we get some good fight scenes. It's very John McClane-ish. It's very kind of more believable kind of cop fighting, more than like super Jason Bourne, super secret agent kind of stuff. He's wounded, doing all this stuff to try and take down this guy and make sure his son's okay. And it was cool to see his son try and help him as well after his father had explained that he was undercover and trying to get him out and alive. And it showed good character growth for the kid to be like, okay, I get this. I get what you're trying to do. Let me try and help you. I mean, he's still got his ass handed to him, pretty much being shoved out of the way. But it shows kind of cool character growth. And I had no problem with the actor. He did a very good job. And the thing is, the plot almost made him into an object, but at least gave him more of a voice than I've seen in other kinds of things. Because that usually is sometimes what happens with the kids that they put in this position. They are more objects to be used to impel our protagonist to action more than to be like, oh, I believe this, the connection and everything, father-son thing. What parent wouldn't do this kind of thing? And it's just really bad when you see it in a movie and it's like, the kid just spouts what people think kids should, whereas this kid's like, what's going on? Let me out of here. What the blah! And seeing him actually thinking and everything, and then it gets kind of weird. Because they capture the kid again, and then pretty much intentionally let him out to try and lure the father back out, so that way they can get the drugs. That leads to the final kind of fight with the lackey, where he takes his champagne bottle, crushes it, and then stabs him in the neck. It was pretty cool and brutal, but that's about the extent of the real fight scenes. Then there is another one that he has later on, but it's kind of short-lived. So, Novak's in there pretty much pushing Stanley to do all this, showing him the tongue and all that, saying that you got an hour because his father's given him 4 hours. It's just kind of muddled and sometimes drags a little bit. And then they're pretty much trying to escape with a car going through the parking lot, and that kind of leads to the end game. And then the ex-wife who's getting married to another dude comes because she's been calling all the time, and it's like, why? No! And then, of course, we see Novak put on a gas mask and has all these gas canisters and a machine gun and no body armor. And granted, I think that goes more into his arrogance that nobody's going to be able to hit me. I got the giant machine gun. But it's still kind of like a pretty glaring thing. Like, you're loaded up this much, but you don't have any body armor or anything. So, they take out one of his other lackeys because the son gets smart and drives him over with a truck. And they're pretty much pinned down by Novak. And the ex-wife had also taken out one of the lackeys that was about to take out Vincent. And it's like, even though it was the one smart thing is she had a gun as well. It's like, good. You knew that since you're married to a police officer, bad things are going to be happening. You're probably going to need to be armed. But then it's like, okay, and he's able to take out Novak. Even though he gets shot, he's got another gun on him, takes him out. It's like, okay. there's no like extended brawl scene or whatnot, which would have been kind of cool. It was just kind of anticlimactic. It's like, alright. And while that's going on, earlier we had seen that his partner had been killed while bringing his police officer uniform for some reason. That didn't make sense much. I didn't know why he needed the police officer uniform, and I don't know why his partner would, the reason he was there. I know it was to try and help him, but I can't really think of a real good explanation of why he was there. Other than to die. And to show that Jennifer's partner, Doug, was the dirty IA agent that was protecting Novak and all that. And we had seen that they were able to arrest Stanley, and Jennifer and Doug were driving away. And of course, Vincent had his phone, his partner's phone, which had a voicemail from Doug, and pretty much sent it to Jennifer, like using his phone, playing it, and she's like getting ready to like go for him, but he pretty much shoots her in the shoulder, kills Stanley, and shoots the driving police officer to try and make it look like it was all an accident. He's like, yeah, and then Jennifer's like, arrest him and all that. It's like, he's saying that you were the dirty one, and now you're saying he's the dirty one, and it's like, it would almost be like, arrest them all, and it's like, okay, now we got the proof, and it's like, alright, and then it's made to show that there could be another one, since one of the DEA agents calls Novak's father and says, we got a problem here. And it's like, okay, I wouldn't mind more of it, it's just, it was very weirdly done. Strange pockets and strange connections of plot in that it was like, not very well executed. It's better than some things that I've seen. I've seen some stuff that it's like, what? No. It's just, I'm like, you just need to iron out some details. I like the characters. I definitely like Vincent, and I like his son. It's just, you really didn't give much else to any other characters. Novak was kind of your typical villain. Stanley was like your cringy kind of casino manager dude who just dabbled in drugs for like safety net purposes. He even stated that, and it's like, okay. Other than that, there wasn't really much to connect with, and there, for an action movie, there really weren't that many action pieces that stood out as like exceptional, like seeing like anything from like Deadpool, like the highway scene, the fight with Francis, all the other fights with Francis, Colossus and Angel. It's like, there wasn't that kind of stuff, like your usual kind of like Hollywood-esque, like, oh, you know that fight scene? Not really like any big kind of stuff. So, I wouldn't be opposed to another movie in this franchise. It's just, I hope that they are able to get it better together, because I like Jamie Foxx as an actor, and I like seeing him in a more action-oriented role, so I hope that this film doesn't end that kind of stuff from him. I'm just like, okay, hopefully you're able to do better, but it's like, I would recommend, if you see it on TV, that's fine, but I wouldn't recommend them do like, going out and to see it. So, those are my opinion on Sleepless. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.